Hey guys, what's going on? Chris NY Sports here. We are finally here with the predictions video for the 2018-19 season, the Stanley Cup Final. Here we go. We are here. This is the 7th video I've made, probably no, 8th video I made of the entire playlist of the my 2018-19 NHL standing predictions and playoff predictions. In the Stanley Cup Final, I have the St. Louis Blues going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I've had the Blues upsetting teams that are better than them for all 3 rounds, and the Lightning, I have the President's Trophy. I have them going through some pretty tough teams, long series. I have both these teams in long series. I haven't predicted a sweep yet, and spoiler, there won't be a sweep in the Stanley Cup Final. However, I will predict that this will go 7. So it'll be the first time since 2011, when the Bruins and Canucks went to 7, that a Stanley Cup Final will go to 7 games. And even in that game, that was a blowout. The Bruins won 4-0. This series I have go 7. Both teams, I'm going to do a little bit things differently. I'm not going to say the winner until the end. I'm going to just go through both teams. Both teams at this point, a lot of players are obviously going to be going through injuries. They're going to be battling pain wherever, possibly everywhere, because it's non-stop action for 2 months. The playoffs in hockey are the best by far in any sport around the world to me. It's absolutely the best. And both of these teams, obviously, to me, they deserve to be here. They have very good teams. And I think on paper, if you look at both these teams, the Lightning have a better team. You could argue that the Lightning have the best team in the league. I think it's hands down that they have the best team in the East. And you could really top 3 in the league, top 2, and most likely the best in the league. With that being said, we're going to go through game by game scoring. So game 1 will be in Tampa. I'll have the Lightning win 4-1. I think Tampa, being home for game 1, crowd's going to be on their side. They're just going to come out firing on all cylinders. And I think as the game progresses, St. Louis will find their game. It's going to be too late, and Vasilevskiy is going to shut the door. So 4-1, Lightning are up 1-0 in the series heading into game 2. And in game 2, I have the Lightning winning again. This game I'm going to have going to overtime, but I have the Lightning winning 2-1. St. Louis will adjust. You saw this last year in the Cup Final, where Washington gave up 6 goals in game 1. They lost, I think, 6-4. Came back game 2, and they watched film, and they know who they're going up against. They're prepared mentally, physically, and they had a better game. And the Blues will have a much better game. However, the Lightning are still going to edge it out. There will be a lot of shots in this game, great chances both ways. But in the end, the Lightning take full control of having those first 2 games on their home ice, and they are going to St. Louis with a 2-0 series lead. So the Lightning are up 2-0, putting the Blues with their backs up against the wall. However, the saying goes, until you lose at home, you're in a good spot. And with that being said, game 3, Lightning are up 2-0. The Blues are going to play very desperate, and I have them winning 3-0. Shutting out the Lightning. Blues take game 3, even up the series. Jake Allen plays out of his mind. The Lightning have good chances, and at points outplay the Blues, but in the end, Jake Allen stands on his head. Vasilevskiy struggles a little bit, just enough for the Blues to get themselves right back in this series for a game 4. And the Blues down 2-1 in this series, and we're going to go right into that game 4. Going back and forth on it, we're going to have the Blues winning again. So home ice is the home ice advantage is real in this series. Home team in the series so far is 4-0. The Blues will be tying up the series 2 games apiece, making it a best of 3, and I'll have them winning. We'll go 4-3 in regulation. Lightning, they're going to obviously, I think it'd be very hard to shut out the Lightning 2 days in a row, especially being it's the same team they're facing. So I don't see that happening. I'll even go out and say I could see the Lightning jumping out to like a 2-0 lead or a 3-1 lead, but the Blues come storming back. And the Blues, in the end, tie up this series, maybe with a late goal, less than a minute or something like that. I have it in regulation, but the Lightning fall in St. Louis both times, and the Blues have all momentum going back to Tampa with the series knotted up at 2, making it a best of 3. And let's go over to Game 5. And as the series shifts back to Tampa, although the Blues have momentum coming off 2 straight wins, home ice will continue to strive in the series. Tampa will become 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final with a, let's say, we'll go a little crazy. We'll go 5-2 victory. 5-2 winning Game 5 for Tampa. Home ice. Again, teams are 5-0 now in the Stanley Cup final for me. So the Blues back up against the wall now, yet again, looking pretty bad. I think they come out slow, and I say Tampa. I say Jake Allen will get pulled in this game. I say Tampa leads 3-0 after 1. You see Allen get pulled, and then you see the Blues start to slowly try to fight their way back, but they couldn't recover from that first period. So the Blues are going to be up, the Blues are going to be down 3-2. However, they are going back to St. Louis, which they won both games, 3-4 there before. Will they fight off elimination yet again and force a Game 7, or will they have to watch Tampa celebrate with a cup on their home ice? Let's go to Game 6. Game 6, back in St. Louis, where the Blues find themselves 1 loss away from losing it all, and the Lightning 1 win away from winning it all. And in fact, the Stanley Cup final will be in the building here for this Game 6, as the Lightning are up 3-2. However, the Blues are going to win again on home ice, and they're going to force a Game 7. The Blues are going to win by a score of 3-1. It's going to be a really tight game, and I have the third goal being an empty netter, so it's going to be a nail-biting game for Blues fans up until that empty net goal with about, we'll say, 20-25 seconds left. The Blues barely hung on, as I'm going to say that they get outshot by solid 15-20 shots. The Lightning just poured on, but Jake Allen plays like an animal, and he is the reason why that is going to a Game 7. So like I said before, this will be the first Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final since the Canucks and the Bruins played in Vancouver back in 2011. Canucks lost. We all know what happened after that. But now let's get into the Game 7 prediction, the last one of the season. Here we go. Game 7, Stanley Cup final, 2019 Stanley Cup final. Lightning against the Blues in Tampa. The home team thus far has been 6-0. And that stops here. The Blues I have being the Stanley Cup final, the Stanley Cup champion in the 2018-19 season. They've been the underdog for me this whole playoff run I have them predicting. And why stop it here? They're going to defeat the President's Trophy winning Tampa Bay Lightning in 7. And we'll say this game, we'll make it a little more dramatic. We'll say 2-1 in double overtime. Man, that would be amazing if that actually happens. A double overtime Game 7 Stanley Cup final. But that will be the case. There's going to be over 100 shots and only 3 goals. And we're even going to go down to predicting the game-winning goal. And we'll give it... I don't want to give it just to Tarasenko, because he's like the obvious choice. We'll give it to... we're going to give it to the new man, Ryan O'Reilly. He's one of the biggest reasons why I have the Blues doing this whole underdog run to the Stanley Cup final. But there you guys have it. That's all my predictions in terms of standings and teams. Next up, we have 2 videos left to do. We are going to be doing 10 bold predictions. That's not to any teams specifically. That's just in terms of individual players or teams. That goes for anything. 10 bold predictions for the 2018-2019 season, and I'm going to be predicting the awards, the NHL awards at the end of the season. But let's get into one right now. The Conn Smythe winner, we're going to go with Jake Allen. Because there's real no reason why I have Jake Allen having an absolute outstanding career year from his body of work over the past couple of seasons, but I'm going to do it, and he will be in my poll predictions video, so stay tuned for that. But I have the Conn Smythe going to Jake Allen. And if you guys don't know what the Conn Smythe is, it's the most valuable player for his team in the playoffs. So there you go. He's going to be stealing games throughout series, all 4 series. So there you guys have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. The St. Louis Blues, your 2019 Stanley Cup champion. You guys heard it from me here first, Chris NY Sports. Stay tuned for the next couple of videos coming up that I have in terms of predictions. And NHL 19 is less than 2 weeks away. It's right around the corner. I am so pumped for it. I have some real cool ideas. I'm probably actually going to make a video about NHL 19 and my plans for it and what I'm going to do. A little more in-depth about the franchise mode and the Be a Pro and all that stuff before the game comes out after these predictions. So stay tuned for that. A lot of hockey content coming in your way, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.